Let's go ahead and build the first model. We need a gross margin by product and we need to get 6 dimensions here. So we start with region and then we go to country and then we have got city and then let's get channel where the products are sold and then we get product family and we've got product. Okay, so I've got the names of all the all the attributes here, and then you've got this nice row hierarchical structure. So these are my row dimensions. For columns, I need time dimension. I've got the date table. I'll get the date hierarchies. I don't need it to go to the day level. I'm fine with the 3 scales of hierarchies of time: year, quarter, and month. That's fine. Now in the values, I'm going to get my DAX table. I'll click on the sales folder and then I've got revenue actual. Nice and easy. You've got your product level revenue ready. Now you want to calculate the gross margin by product. So you need the OPEX here. Let's do some formatting quickly. You go to native, stretch the width of the column measure, and let's reduce the decimals quickly. This looks good. And what we can also do is use the burger icon to sort this by descending. Now we've got this, and then finally we have this grand total, column grand total. Let's bring it to the left. All right, this is ready. Now let me put the operating expense measure here. So I'll go to the P&L folder because it's one of the head of your report, and you get the operating expense actual. Place it here. Just see what happens now. Now, this is a very interesting piece. If you observe very carefully, OPEX is actually recorded only till country, and it has no relationship with the city, the channel, the product family, and the product. So it will show blank. Now, you want to have the OPEX allocated to all the products, right? Or all the missing dimensions, which are not related to OPEX. This is where the first use case problem is going to be solved with the help of Cube. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to save this. And I want to take a copy of this, duplicate this. In the interest of time, I'm duplicating this to create another model, and there we will manage the hierarchies on the fields section. I'm just going to double click this and call it gross margin by country. Save. Okay, I'm going to remove this, this. So we've got region and country. Okay, let's save this. All right. Okay. So we should ideally see the values here, but let me go ahead and quickly sync the data. I've got a sync option here as well as the sync option in the data pane. Or worst case, we can quickly create a second model. That's not a problem because there is hardly any dimensions that we need to look at. Okay, yes, the syncing was missing, so we just synced it. Now you see that we have got all the cells filled in because operating expense and revenue actual both are showing for 2 dimensions here. So this is basically the place, this is basically the model where we are going to create the cube and move it here in gross margin by product. So how do we create a cube? So let us go to the insert column option, choose the number option, create it from an empty series. And let's name this as OPEX allocated. And scroll down, you will find enable multidimensional allocation, add breakdown. This is the intelligent piece. Now I'll just take a pause here. What we are doing here is we are creating breakdowns so that the partitions will be intelligently managed by cube and multidimensional allocations can take place in the right way. So first it is asking to choose the reference measure. You need to choose one reference measure that connects all the dimensions. So look at revenue actual and think about it. Revenue actual is available for all the 6 dimensions. Operating expense is available only for 2 dimensions. But country is common because revenue is by city and city is the child of parent. in the row hierarchy, or let's say dimensional hierarchy. So revenue is the measure here out of the two, which can be used to refer the weights and use the allocation according to the weights. So I'm going to remove operating expense. And now with breakdown one, I only have two dimensions. These two dimensions are the dimensions we placed in gross margin by country. So these are the native dimensions of the app. What I will do is I'll click here and I'll add the missing dimension. So we go to city, then we go to channel. Let me scroll this down. Yeah, channel is selected. Then we go to product family. So let's scroll up. Product family is in dim 5, right? And then we go to product. So I'm choosing the same dimensions that's there in the GM by product. Region and country are common. And definitely in breakdowns, you need to have common dimensions between multiple apps, right? So rest all are unrelated dimension for operating expense. Now let's see what happens. I'll just create and I'll hit create here. So my breakdown is created. Now the cube measure creation is in progress. It'll take a few seconds and then the cube measure will be created. I'll show you where it is, where it appears. All right. In few seconds, you have the OPEX allocated created. I'll just click save. Now, what do we do with this measure? Reckon that we had grand total. These are all actuals. I'll take the operating expense actual. I'll right click, copy, and I'll paste it here. And this right now distributes everything equally. What I will do is I'll go ahead and select operating expense actual. This is fine, right? Now what I will do is I will not use operating expense actual in this report. I'll just disable it, yeah, from the visual perspective. Now this is exactly looking perfect. I want to have my, okay, let's save this. I want to have one more calculation. Let's calculate formula visual measure. Call it gross margin. Okay, okay, gross margin actual. And then I want to have revenue actual minus OPEX allocated, and they should be okay. Right, so we have this ready. Okay, I'm going to choose all the three column measures, give them a nice dollar prefix, apply, and then save. Now let us use the cube measure, right? You see there's an icon of cube in the measure. I'll go to gross margin by product, right? I'm going to go to my sheets, and then you've got cube here. You've got OPEX allocated. Use the ellipsis and say insert as a measure. So now the linking is in progress. So the partition is now trying to understand what is the breakdown and then exactly managing the mapping behind the scene. You're not doing any coding here. Everything is happening in lightning speed as you see. So you see your OPEX allocation, right? Right now, for all the unrelated dimension, it is trying to break equally. What you can do simply is you can just go ahead and spread it by weights of revenue actual. Now, very carefully observe, it did not change the values of United States. It did not change the values of North America, but all the values of unrelated dimensions for OPEX have followed the weight of revenue actual.